we discussed board members or family members of board members interacting with those employees. We already had that discussion, but we never had policies or guidelines written about this stuff, so it just doesn't happen. That's where I think.
So do we need
I think it's worth a mention, and everybody take it to heart, and
More than update, you need to create them.
Exactly, but maybe that's what.
We,
need to
I
do.
think
Maybe
we learned
that
a
should
good
be part of
lesson.
this whole workshop thing.
with the sewer thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And there were hard feelings.
Yep.
And,
So just,
not only within the village board, but there also was within the village and the town. And those feelings still exist
Yeah,
as far as the town goes. I mean, we can all agree to disagree, but it doesn't mean you're suddenly my enemy. We still
Right.
have to support our
exactly,
village.
like that.
And we can only we can't control the town, but we can control what.
Yeah,
how
and we did
treat-
that very well.
How we treat each other here in this
Exactly.
office, and how we treat each other, the staff, and
I
everything.
agree. And it was a good lesson for us to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boy, was it ever.
So I don't know, I think you guys at the time thought it was a good idea to put something in place. If you don't, you don't. Or it just goes on to the next time that something like that happens. I just think there should be some sort of.
My 2 cents in this, I would tend to agree that in terms of, I know that employees of the village many of them are village residents as well. So when you open it up to village residents having the opportunity to speak, they take off one hat and put on another one. And I don't know if that is, I agree that that's probably not the way in which we should handle public decorum kind of thing. If you want to meet with any member of the board and express your opinions, which a couple of the people that have been very vocal and are both resident and also work for the village have done that. I mean, I've met with them, but to do so in a public forum kind of puts a bad light, I think, on the village.
It degrades everything, just degrades everything.
When you're expressing an opinion and you express it to us on the board, and listen, we have listened. To do that as a public forum, as now taking off that hat you have and putting on the citizen hat, then it becomes more, I don't think it's proper. So I would agree with that. I mean, there certainly are avenues for any employee to voice their concerns to the board. There certainly are. And I'm willing to listen. My office is open to listen to them, and that can be attested to by a number of individuals. But I don't know if that necessarily provides them or gives them that license to stand as a representative of the village as well as a citizen. So, I mean, that's my
We
opinion.
had nothing.
Well, the village already, there is a policy in the employee handbook 6-13, off-duty social networking, where it says that if a position taken by an employee expresses a political opinion or an opinion regarding the Village of Webster's positions or actions, the post must specifically note that the opinion expressed is the employee's personal opinion and not necessarily the Village of Webster's position. So I don't think you can't, if the employee is also a village resident, you can't ban that person from going up to the microphone at a open comment section of the meeting. but you can require that they first disclose that they're an employee and that they expressly state that their opinion is theirs and not necessarily the village's opinion. And this goes on to.
It's a little different than what we talked about last time, John.
Yeah.
Just put that out there.
Well, I don't, how with freedom of speech in this country.
I'm just saying, sir, you gave me a different viewpoint.
Well, I
Maybe
think.
a week and a half.
Well, well, look, you could have a policy that discourages it, but you can't ban it. So you could use the word that while the village discourages employees who are also village residents from expressing opinions on village matters at a village meeting.
For an expressing opinion, we have people stand up and call my name out and say, well, because you're gonna vote and direct just to me and Al. You only do that because other people on the board or other people talk. You don't know what I'm gonna do. You truly don't have any clue what my decisions are gonna be. So it's because of all this gibbering and talking behind people's back, but someone to intentionally yell or raise their tone to me as a board member, I don't raise my voice to them, I don't scream at them, and I expect to say, well, that's what we're talking about, that's what happened. Someone's coming up and expressing their opinion in a common professional matter is much different than yelling or screaming and saying
Well, I think
things.
there was, and I don't know if it was carried forward into, I haven't seen we have this new employee handbook, which I'm not sure has been actually disseminated to the employees. I know I have a PDF copy, I don't know if there's been hard copies given to employees, but part of that handbook is an acknowledgement by each employee that they received a copy of it. But that's another issue. But there always was another policy on meeting decorum that, to my knowledge, hasn't been rescinded. And part of that policy is you're not supposed to raise your voice, you're not supposed to use vulgarities. So, you already have that policy. You could have the person removed from the meeting
Exactly.
for that. But that's different than telling them what they can and can't say. You can discourage employees from commenting, but you can't ban them. But you can ban somebody raising their voice,
Yeah.
pointing their finger at you, and you can ask that they leave the meeting. It's already a village policy.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
But the other thing, the other part of this policy is that use your true identity. So if employees have posted comments on websites and social media anonymously, or they wrote them and they used somebody else's name, that's a violation of this policy.
They didn't write, I haven't seen posts directly from employees, but I heard the wife's post that has said on Webster's page that one board member was making a decision just to advance his political career. So I do want to educate them that that's not how the system works. You have to actually run for position and win an election. But that's what I'm talking about. So those type of things are happening, and in this boardroom it happened many times where it got loud and heated. I don't understand why you can't remain passionate and professional. So if you think we can't do that, then that's fine. Move on. I don't know an organization anywhere that you can come up to a podium and rip your CEO in front of people. I've never seen that happen in any organization. But if you think that's okay, then
Well, I don't know what you mean by rip your CEO. If they're yelling, screaming, using profanities, no, they can't do that.
They can't.
If they're again, if they're criticizing a board member for a vote they took or something like that, and they're a village resident, and they're doing it calmly, and they're perfectly, you can't ban that. This is the United States of America. And the other part of it is that, yes, you're an elected official. Part of being an elected official is you got to develop a thick skin because you're going to be criticized.
John, you don't think I have a thick skin?
You do.
I was beat up the whole time.
I know, I understand that, but that's sort of part of the, That's sort of part of the game though, is, you know.
Yeah. And it's not about me having thick skin, it's really about me being professional.
Well,
Yeah,
again,
that's fine. Let's move on.
There were instances in the past, under previous administrations, where people had to be removed.
Oh, I agree.
from-
Coming from this seat.
Removed from the meetings.
And it's not one side, you don't get it wrong, it has to be both ways.
If I might just interject real quick, I think one of the important things here is the first thing that we talked about tonight, or that the board talked about tonight, is the reviews of goals, the objectives, and meeting with people. And I think if people have a chance to discuss things throughout the year and need be, and feel like they're being heard,
Good point.
they won't end up here. If they feel like they're being listened to, if they have a, you know, something maybe disagrees and then it's talked out and they can get a chance to see each other's side of things, I don't think people are gonna be here as residents, because we gotta take care of.
No, I think it's a great point, still on behavior point.
Right, yeah.
Versus them coming up to a podium, so,
Yeah.
but I agree with you that.
Yeah,
No,
no,
that's up to the supervisor to tell them that, look, if they've got issues with something the board has done or whatever, feel free to contact any board member directly. I don't think any of you would object to that.
No, we've talked to them.
You know, but, you know, if it comes up, it should be up to Jake or Heather or someone to tell them, look, you know, if you got an issue with a particular board member, the board as a whole, contact them.
but if they show up in the meeting to talk, it's not my responsibility anymore, right?
Well, it really is.
No,
Is it?
it isn't.
According to what Don just said, it is.
Again, if they're a village resident, then you can't ban them.
Exactly.
What are you making a call for if you're not gonna get them out of here for us?
We're talking to Don, right?
No.
So and again,
But-
I know they're passionate and they have the right to be passionate, it's just if we can corral, so maybe it is just a one-page little thing that just says, hey, this is how we represent ourselves, because you are still wearing the village shirt at the end of the day, the village logo, right? So just represent yourself in a professional way, and that should be it, and that's end of story. So if you don't want it documented, maybe it's just communicated, it could be just an email from Daryl to include the board and all employees, and this is our expectations, and emails, we shouldn't
That's
be
a
putting
good idea.
exclamation points, screaming at people, or we shouldn't do that here, just to generally know everybody. You know, disagree, do it respectfully, email etiquette, whatever it is, and we move on.
We should make it part of the employee handbook.
And that's fine too.